What's going on, y'all? It's Monty back on another episode of Mondays with Monty, and here we are again, dog. I told y'all in the last video I was gonna make a couple of videos right now, and this is another one that I'm making right now. And one thing that while my mind's going, I gotta get to it. One thing that I talked about in that video was like a new form of jealousy that I've started to create. And also another thing I was talking about was Patrice O'Neal. If y'all haven't listened to Patrice O'Neal or the Black Phillip show yet, go listen to that. But I've developed a new form of jealousy now. You know what I mean? Because I no longer experience much of the jealousy in terms of like just my woman being around another man or like another man showing interest in my woman. I don't really experience that jealousy too frequently anymore. But the jealousy I do experience, I feel like it's worse. I feel as if it's worse. So I read a book. I don't have it around me right now, but I read a book called The Value of Others, and it turned relationships into a marketplace. It developed and expounded upon the idea of the sexual marketplace, right? And to sum a lot of it up, everyone has a value within the marketplace. This is either your true value or it's your perceived value, or even like the normalized value of everyone around you. So your true value can only be taken from the actual partners in which you've received certain things from, but your perceived value is often how well you're perceived by others. And this varies between person because people value different things. So your perceived value can be a lot different from person to person. And basically what it is that the jealousy that I've started to create is that my girl, right, she perceives me as valuable. You know, one of the main mantras of the entire book was that people are going to be with what they believe to be their best possible option. So as of right now, she views me as her best possible option. So she views me very highly. She perceives my value very highly, right? But, and now here's the but. There are still other men on the planet who she would perceive as more valuable than me, right? And that's I feel as if a pitfall within everything. And let me explain what I mean by that. Because in terms of, I'll make it easy and say in terms of celebrities have a very high perceived value. They're perceived to be extremely valuable, regardless of the type of person they actually are, because all we have of them mostly is an idea. You know, because we're not like friends with celebrities. All we have is the idea of them. We haven't been able to actually experience them on a level in which we could deduct their actual value. But a lot of these people, because they have fame, because they've amassed a lot of money, their perceived value is very high, right? So hold that thought right there and let me get into something separate, because I heard the guy who actually wrote the book talking about body counts and why men shouldn't necessarily care about it. And he gave a hypothetical. He said, let's say there is a woman who's had 15 partners in her past. 15. I think he said the average for anyone was like 6, or it was like 6. I'm not going to say, you guys know where my, but the average was like 6, around there. And let's say a woman had 15, because normally men don't like women with higher body counts. But he said, let's say the woman had 15 partners, right? And all 15 of those partners had to wait 2 months, and she made them make a commitment before given what he wanted, right? So the guys had to wait 2 months, and they had to commit to her before she even got into it with him, right? But with you, she allows you right away. First date, right away. No restrictions, no nothing on it. She's just going, like, she likes you that much that she's just ready to go right away. Right? So in that situation, you're probably going to feel good about yourself. You know, you're going to feel really good about yourself because all the rest of those dudes had to wait and had to commit to her, and you didn't have to pay that price. And he said, now on the flip side, let's say a woman has only had one sexual partner, right? One, but she let that dude go crazy. He had the liberties that you had in the beginning, in which, like, first date she was going like she was that invested in this dude. But with you, she now wants you to wait and to commit as like the other 15 guys in that other thing. She wants you to wait the 2 months. You have to make her your girlfriend. So you don't have the same liberties that that guy had. And in that situation, you may feel worse than the one with the 15 dudes. And it was an interesting way to look at it. But the way that I'm looking at it, right, is that are there more liberties that my girl would be giving to a dude who she perceives has higher value than me? You know, like sometimes I sit down and I'm like, would she be doing more for someone else? That is what's running through my mind on a consistent basis. It's not like, oh, I wonder who she's talking to. It's who else would she give equal or greater liberty than me when it comes to this relationships? And it's such a weird thing to be so fixated on. But that's what I'm thinking, because I understand that right now my value has a certain point that it's at. And it's whatever value she deems that I have, right? But there are still other people who she would perceive would have more value than me, regardless of, you know. So and like the fact that there's other people that exist who are essentially more valuable to me in her eyes is what really, really grinds me up. And you know what? It's a positive thing, because it's not necessarily something that makes me look at her differently, because that's not something, like, she's not even thinking about that. I don't know if she's gonna watch this or anything, but she's not even thinking about that. But I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, damn, you know, like, damn. So, but it's also made me a lot more motivated to do what I got to do. I said in the last video, it makes me make videos sometimes. It makes me get up and post on TikTok. It makes me post on Instagram. It makes me continue being consistent with everything that I have to be consistent with, because I'm like, yo, I got to grow my value. I got to be deemed as more valuable. And the one thing you can do as a man to be deemed more valuable is acquire more resources. Acquire more resources. That's the simple thing. I really want to get into the value of others, and I'm going to get into it, but I'm taking notes through it slowly. I want to start testing myself on the knowledge so I can really have it understood and down packed, so I can really get that out and make that a good video for y'all. But that's the biggest thing that's always going through my head, like the surface level jealousy of like, oh, another man, her being out with another man, like that doesn't get in my mind anymore. Like, that's not something that's killing me inside anymore. But it used to be. But now it's just like, damn, who else would she be? Who else would experience the liberties that I experienced? This fucking dog. You know, because I've never asked her about her history in that sense. But I feel, maybe it's just my pride, or maybe it's just my confidence in myself. I feel as if I have a lot of liberties that a lot of dudes from her past didn't have, you know, because like there's some wild stuff that my girl said that I could, let me not get into it, whatever. But I feel as if I have a lot more of liberties than a lot of however many of the guys that she's been with in her past. Yeah, I don't know how else to really talk about it or how else to expand upon it, but I think a lot of people would understand that. Let me know what y'all think about that, and how, like, what, you know, because I don't feel as if, like I said, it's not necessarily a negative thing, you know, because it's not something that I'm using against her. It's because it doesn't really have much. It has everything to do with her, but it has nothing to do with her. Like, I can't blame her for that, you know. But it's just something, that's the thing that goes through my head. It's like, of all things, like, that's what you're thinking about, you know. But it's guy shit. That's just how it goes. But yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed. I think I have another topic I want to talk about, so I might record another video right now. And I don't think I'm gonna have to make any cuts for these videos anymore. Like, I feel as if I'm really getting my points across, and I'm really like presenting everything well, so I don't have to chop and edit and do some random shit or hoo-ha. But appreciate y'all rocking with me. I will talk with y'all soon, and happy Monday.
If I'm ever flying her out, then she don't gotta worry, she flying direct. Money getting these hoes select. Pay my dues, now it's time to collect. Niggas flexing and showing advances. In reality, probably in debt. Doing better than niggas expect. The fuck was you really expecting? Whenever these niggas be hating on money, I know that he really projecting.